Rami Igra. Rami, thanks for being with us
Good evening.
today. To the question that we just put here, what do you think, what is the status of Iran's missile capability? How much has been degraded here in the first 72 hours? How much has been shot?
The important thing here is what is Iran willing to stand? And if you look at history, the Iranians fought an 8-year war, very bloody war with 1 million casualties with Iraq. The Iranians see this war as a religious war, and it has to be considered as such. The question is not how much they have, but how long they can withstand whatever hits it. You look at now at their munition economics in the last 24 hours. If in the first day or the first day and a half, we received an attack in Israel every hour, more or less, it is now has been sparsed out, and this is a new economy of munition. They are looking for the long run. They understand that the people on the other side, having air superiority, etc., really can't go for a year-long war. Now, I would like to, if you let me, relate to the issues that the general put forward in the last interview.
Sure.
The big question really here is not what they did. They have done to the West many evils, and they all deserve whatever they get. But the question is, what do we want to achieve at the end of this conflict? What are we looking for? Are we looking for destroying their missile capabilities? Well, we've done that 8 months ago, and they rejuvenated their capabilities as we see today. Are we looking to destroy their nuclear capabilities? We've done that 8 months ago, leaving 420 kilograms enriched in uranium, which we do not know where it is, and which could be used for a quick run to a nuclear weapon, which will change the game altogether. Or are we looking for a regime change? You must understand that in order to get a regime change, you would need at least 3 components. You need a movement, a popular movement, you need leadership, and you need an armed conflict with the regime. We don't have any of these right now on the ground. The fact that there are liberals in Iran and the liberals are protesting in Tehran doesn't mean that we have a movement with leadership. Pahlavi is not the leader of the Iranian people. They all remember the 1953 coup, which Pahlavi took place in, and the Shah's very difficult regime, including whatever they did to their opponents. So at the end of the day, we can't expect that this air war will bring in a revolution that will change the regime. And that is the only secret, that is the only key to the end of the evil in Iran. We need to change the regime. And changing a regime is a very long process to be taken by the secret services of the West over arming the opposition and endorsing the opposition with local leadership.
And really quickly, Rami, I think I will be forced to go to commercial break in 30 seconds. But is that what you're suggesting will take place in the months to come? Or are you suggesting this mission is not about that? As you gave us the 3 options. That third option, is it coming, you're suggesting, or is it not on the table?
If we want to change the regime in Iran, if we want to have a new regime there, which will not try to attack us through terrorism and through terrorist organizations, if we want this to stop, the only way to do it is not to kill them now, but to end their capabilities of rejuvenation in the future.
I think I got it, and I think I'll be able to continue that conversation in just a moment. Thank you for setting it up for me, Rami Igra. Thanks for.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.